I was just playing around with like AI and ended up launching the first AI podcast host in the world.
Yeah, this is the AI Jake.
AI Jake, yeah. So I don't do that anymore.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it's basically, so the podcast was growing. I was getting bigger and bigger guests. I've been always pretty good at networking, so I had a decent quality network that I reached out to strategically as guests came on and I could reference to them. I was like, okay, I want to effectivize things. And I was talking with, actually weirdly so, I was talking with the manager of Ice-T, so the big American rapper.
Oh, really?
And then he had an idea like, hey, can't you do something with like automated music news? And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea, but let me explore that path. And I found this company called, I forgot the name now, I think it's called Vapi or something like that, which is basically a phone support company.
Okay.
And like, okay, this sounds interesting. And I logged in and like, oh, like there's this API connection you can do.
Yeah.
And like, and I know 11 Labs, so I cloned my voice. I took this thing. HeyGen had just came out.
Yeah.
So connecting the APIs together and like, can I speak to myself if I make a really good system prompt? And it ended up like, I set up a phone line with this sort of telephone company.
Okay.
And then suddenly I was speaking with myself because I cloned my voice and connected through API and like, I'm speaking with myself right now. And then I just perfected that. And then so let's do a podcast episode. And ended up being like the first in the world to do a live podcast episode with my AI version. So we had a lot of coverage like NRK, Daily Mail, international media. So I haven't been challenged yet. It seems to still to this day to be the first AI podcast globally in the world.
It was a really fun thing to do and a really fun way to explore all this new technology that's cropping up at the same time. I really love the idea of playing around with technology and creating something like that and just, exploring the possibilities, just swimming in this ocean of technology.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So, I'm semi-technical in the sense that I know technology fairly well. I don't code per se, but I know how to navigate that space really well. So again, just that creativity. So I just saw an opportunity that other people didn't. And even to this day, like, not a lot of people have done it. I've shown a few people how to do it, but like, it's still not that obvious.
Do you involve different people from Amplitude Ventures that's in this project, or did you do a lot of it yourself? I mean, it seems like a lot of things to glue together.
I always do things by myself first. So I always explore fully myself. And then if it has something sustainability, I hand it over. Like even like we created the first AI artist in Norway. So I released the first music with AI artist in Norway, got a good deal media coverage.
Yeah, what would you call it?
Well, it was a company called reshaping. So we did so we also had NRK coverage and that kind of stuff on the first AI music with like a Rusebus and stuff like that.
Did you make like a music video for it as well?
No, we just made music and then because like it spent so much, like I needed to, in order to come to a quality that was release ready, I think I've made like 5,000 songs.
What did you say? 5,000?
5,000, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
a lot.
like the hyper-focus was so deep that like this cannot be repeated, even if I try to train people. Like
too deep of a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and we tried to launch it as business, but we couldn't really find like any reliable partners. So we had like people we tested out like to do the selling and stuff like that, but it's a weird industry. There was a music industry.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I was just thinking, from the story, extrapolating to sort of music in general. And did you use Suno or what kind of tool?
Yeah, so I ended up always been preferring Suno, even when it was crap. You could do a lot of creative things. Like, right now they have a lot of, creativity, but even like when you did Suno 2 and Suno 3, like it was really limited what you can do. But as I have a master's in audio production, like I was really creative and like took things out of Suno, put it together, put it back in, and like prompt engineering and like was really, really creative. Like I could make something. So Suno was the most, basically I used Suno because it could give output the fastest. Yeah. So a lot of the other programs, like you need to wait for a long time and I just needed rapid iterations. Like
it also feels a little bit more I haven't explored this space a lot. I'm sure you've explored it much more, but it feels much more intuitive than a lot of the alternatives. It's very easy to make something, and it seems to be able to understand more which direction you're going in, at least for the ones that I've tried.
It's just better on quality. There's a lot of downsides for that. There's a lot of illegal activity of how they built it, and that's a story for a different day. But for me, they've been the biggest disruptors, also because they've been the ones getting the most capital. They just raised 2.5 billion Norwegian last week in extra capital. So they're really getting heavily financed to build this very disruptive technology, and no one can beat them on quality. But it's done illegally, so
Oh, really? I was not aware of,
yeah,
that part of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big controversy.
I'm sort of dying to dive into that, but maybe that's a topic
for
another day.
Sure, but music is being disrupted, and I've worked in music, most of my adult life, and for me, it's interesting to see something so core and fundamental to people's lives, which is music and their relationship with music and their relationships where music is a defining part of it.
Yeah.
We've already now come to a point where AI music outperforms most creators. And I can say that very honestly. Like, I've made songs, I'll play you one afterwards,
sure.
which you'll actually hear, like how, if you do it right, and I've, I think by now made more than 10,000 songs with these kind of tools, you can really get good music. Like, they can hit you emotionally.
With LLMs, you can play around with the lyrics so much. You can play around with the different instruments. Like, everything is fine, but I want to change this instrument to this, so I want to have a different sound. Like, the ability to customize and get new results very quickly is just mind-boggling.
We're almost there where creativity can be fully sort of expressed in AI tools. And that's scary. I talk a lot with guests on my podcast about this, and everything from world leaders in this space in like music. So last episode with Epidemic Sound, which arguably is probably the biggest production music company in the world, like 15 billion Norwegian valuation, and they have an opinion about AI music which is very sensible, that it's not going to take over. But then you have professors I speak with that believe it's going to take over everything, and then you have philosophers I speak with that explains the complexity of the human mind and body and how that sort of does not resonate with machines. So no one really knows where it's going.
It's difficult to say.
It's super difficult to say, yeah.
I heard Elon say in an interview earlier this week that with so much of, let's call it, basic services going to AI, and it's so fast and easy to use these tools, what you're left with is the live experience. That's the only thing that you can't copy that easy. You can create movies, you can create pictures, you can create music, you can create all these different things. But the one thing you can't create is being there physically, in body, having that live experience. So one of his thoughts was that the price of tickets to live events, be it a live podcast, be it a live concert, be it a live, a theater group or whatever it is, but being there, like the price of being there is going to rise as the price drops for not being there, all the digital aspects. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I definitely, believe that the demand for human interaction is going to rise, and we're already seeing this across the field. I'm skeptical to that not also being disrupted to some degree. I think the expression of human connection is going to be different. But I do believe that the human connectivity and physical presence is going to matter a lot more than it's done in the past. But in reality, I think it's going to change more than people think, and in some aspects, it's going to just change less than people think. I try to not spend too much time reflecting on it, because I now know so much that I know nothing.
The more you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
And I've come to this point where I've spoken to, some of the most progressive minds on music, on this field, and they all disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So they not all completely disagree, but most of them disagree to some degree, and I think that's just put me in a position like, then I'm not going to have an opinion. I'll just ride along. I can't contribute to the conversation. I can't contribute to the movement either. So I'll be an observer that will be as informed as I can to try to make money when I can, because ultimately that's sort of my business.
Yeah, and flexible to change and adapt according to whatever happens, rather than trying to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or at least not spend too much time trying to predict. Another thing I've seen that's just related to this, I wanted to mention that, speaking about live events, there's also been some concerts having the artist not being there. So it's a hologram having the concert. So it's also a fascinating concept that probably will happen more.
I think, the people's connection to digital characters have always been strong. Like everything from when I was a kid and watching Dragon Ball Z.
Cartoons and
Yeah. So that's always going to be there. It's always going to. I think that's going to grow, also. Like I think as sort of AI or entities taking form of AI or is going to have more personality and more to say and more relevance. So that aspect is also going to grow. So I think that's something we're going to see as well. That as long as you have good stories, like the characters in Dragon Ball Z are not real, but you can still have diehard fans that that's what captures them, and that's going to happen with holograms and AI artists as well.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's any difference, even though it seems more scary.
Yeah, it's just gonna be even more sophisticated in terms of the ways that they connect and resonate with you.
At the end of the day, if you tell a great story, no matter what medium you use, there will be a market for it.
If you appreciated that, then click here for more content like this. Go on, click it. And don't forget to subscribe. Be well.